What you got?
Is he going to call in?
He outside.
Is he going to call in?
What are we doing? What are you doing on this? It's a plea on, Trayvon Clark.
You already signed it up? Everybody's good?
He's all signed.
That's 6 cases or 5? 5 cases.
Yeah, he's doing.
Okay, no.
I'll show you. No, I just show you what the plea.
Gaggles. That's a gaggle of cases. We call that gaggle.
Oh, that's hey, it's all good. No, it's the aggravated robbery, judge, and the evading that we plan on, and they dismissing the prohibited weapon, the UUMV, and the attempt to commit theft.
The UUMV?
Mm-hmm.
Did you do it all?
We did it.
On that.
I know, right? Me.
Okay. So 3 cases are going to be dismissed.
Yes, sir. And pleading the
You did pretty good there. But still, you got 2 cases there you're stuck with. He's going to plead to which numbers?
The cause numbers are 24 GCCR 1018 and 1019.
And the other 3 shall be dismissed, which are 1079, 1712, and 1716.
That's correct, Judge.
Ma'am.
5 cases are now called all style in the state of Texas versus, is it Trayvon Joshua Clark in each of these cases. And you are going to be pleading guilty in 24 CR 1018 and 1019, which are a first-degree felony of aggravated robbery and a third-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle. Is that your understanding of the plan, sir?
Yes, sir.
Does the defendant, who is here with Mr. Adams, License Adams, waive formal readings of these indictments and arraignments here? Can we proceed in summary? Yes. That'd be a yes.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. I apologize.
That's what I thought you were. I knew you were thinking that. I just. All right. In summary, 24 CR 1018 states that on or about May 2nd, 2024 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the first-degree felony of aggravated robbery. So I understand what you are charged with in this particular case.
Yes, sir.
Stand by. This is a first-degree felony, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
It's checked off as a second-degree.
Okay, small moment, big deal. The paperwork had this case listed as a second-degree felony. The judge caught it live and bumped it back up to first degree, which is what it actually is under the law. That's not a technicality for show. A first-degree armed robbery carries way more prison time than a second. It's a good reminder that even signed plea deals get double-checked line by line before anything's final.
That can't be. See, second degree. I'm going to fix that. That's okay with everybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Nice try, though, from the defense. It's always working for his client. This is a first-degree felony because it alleges that you intentionally and knowingly threatened or placed the victim in fear of imminent bodily injury or death.
Yeah.
And in the course of committing theft, and you used a deadly weapon, namely a file. You face, as a first-degree felony, a term of life imprisonment or any term of not more than 99 years or less than 5 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand the punishment range applicable here?
Yes, sir.
An agreement's been reached in your case, you would be pleading guilty. Sentenced to 8. This is 8 years in prison to run concurrently with another case. I guess this third-degree felony of evading arrest. And then it says, and Fed robbery. Is that right? You have a case in the federal government, the U.S. Attorney's Office, where you're charged with robbery?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It was 18 USC 2119 for carjacking.
Okay. Have you been sentenced to that one?
He has.
What did you get sentenced for?
It's the same case.
No. What was the sentence? What was the amount of time you?
96 months.
That is correct.
96 months, okay.
So the idea is that they run the same amount of time to run concurrent.
Okay. So that was that 8 years?
Yes, sir.
8 years. Okay. You're going to get 8 years here, but there's a big difference between the federal parole and the state parole. Here, you're going to have to serve half your time, at least 50%, because a firearm was used in the connection of the crime.
Yes, sir.
In the federal government, you're going to spend a longer time
Yes, sir.
because their parole rules are different. And you have to spend almost 90% of your time before you are released, and you have to have good behavior, certainly.
This is the part people don't realize until they hear it explained like this. Same 8 years, two completely different systems. In Texas State Prison, because a firearm was involved, he has to serve at least 50% before he's even eligible for parole. In the federal system, where he's also sentenced for carjacking, that number jumps to around 90%. So even though the sentences run together, the federal case is really going to be the one that determines how long he's actually locked up.
But this agreement, again, is you would be sentenced to 8 years in prison to run concurrently with other cases, state and federal cases. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case, do I understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to this charge, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily?
Yes,
That
sir.
is on your own free will because you are guilty.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm going to put that one aside for just a moment and go to 24 CR 1019. And again, the defendant waives a formal reading of this indictment, a third-degree felony, and agrees to proceed in summary. Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. In summary, this indictment also similarly states as the previous indictment that on or about May 2nd, 2024, which wasn't a good day for you, I guess. In Jefferson County, Texas, you committed the third-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle. I guess when you were fleeing from the aggravated robbery as they were chasing you. If convicted, you face a term of not more than 10 years or less than 2 years in prison. In addition, a fine may be assessed and not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand?
This is
The agreement's been reached here. In your case, you'd be pleading guilty, sentenced to 8 years in prison to run concurrently with the prior case we went over a few minutes ago and with other federal case or cases. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
If I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal of your case. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to this case, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty voluntarily? That is from your own free will. And because you are guilty,
Yes.
I show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 1 in each of these cases. Did you sign those documents?
Yes.
Understand them? Discuss them with your attorney? Are the contents all true and correct?
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 is tendered into evidence in each case
No objection.
without objection, admitted. Among other things, this states, sir, that you are mentally competent to enter your guilty pleas, though freely and voluntarily made. You know what you've been charged with. The indictments have been read to you. You've heard them. You are guilty of these crimes and any lesser included offenses. You are giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, cross-examination of witnesses, totally satisfied with the representation provided by your lawyer. All of this is true at stake, so help you God.
Yes, sir.
State's Exhibit 1 is part of the record for all purposes. Pre-sentence reports away.
Yes, sir.
If nothing further to add, I'm going to find Mr. Clark on each of these cases. You have pleaded guilty voluntarily. You are mentally competent to do so. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty pleas from State's Exhibit 1 admitted in each of these cases to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I now find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of the first-degree felony of aggravated robbery in 24 CR 1018. And in the third-degree felony of evading arrest or detention with a motor vehicle in 24 CR 1019. I am following these agreements. You are hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 8 years. And in each of these cases, and these sentences shall run concurrently. In 24 CR 1018, the aggravated robbery, the judgment shall reflect an affirmative finding that a deadly weapon, namely a firearm, was used in the commission of this offense.
That last line, the judge added the deadly weapon finding, is bigger than it sounds. It's not just a sentence, it follows him. It affects parole eligibility. It can affect how future charges get treated if there's ever a next time, and it's permanently part of his record. 8 years is the number everyone hears, but that one finding shapes a lot of what happens after those 8 years are up.
I think that covers it all. You understand what has happened today, sir?
Yes, sir.
I do better.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that is all.
Thank you. Good luck.
Like the sentencing entry waived fees.
I agree. Mr. Spicer, is there anything you'd like to add?
As far as the expungement?
Yeah.
Just that prior to this, other than my juvenile record, I had never been in trouble. At the time, I was really unable to work due to a back surgery, and I just screwed up. That's the only trouble I've ever been in as an adult, and then never been in any trouble before or after this.
Well, let me ask you this, Mr. Spicer, because when I went back and reviewed this morning, I did note that you did not successfully complete community control. The
Right.
court ended up having to unsuccessfully terminate you. So, I just kind of want to hear from you why that was and what changes you made after you were released from community control.
The main thing that kept me on probation so long was the inability to pay the fines.
You were never assessed to fines.
Yeah, I was told my probation was supposed to be 1 to 3 years, and I was on probation for almost 5 years due to not paying the fines.
Let me go back and look. Because I found you indigent at the time I sentenced you, so that means there should not have been any fines or costs assessed. That's why, even though this report says that there were financials owed, I'm going to ignore that because that's. Let me see what else I have on behalf of the.
That is what Jessica Rupp kept telling me is, pay something.
Well, but you were removed from ILC. Hang on, let me pull it up and I'll be able to be.
Your Honor, it looks like his first or a probation violation in 2018 was for positive drug screens and failing to report.
Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, again, let me pull my notes up so I can have a better, as far as time and stuff.
That was the same nature of the violation in 2022 was failing to report and positive drug screen.
So you see what my point is that I mean, you tested positive, you ended up losing your ILC and being convicted of these charges. And then you had your ultimate violation, which led me to just let you serve out local time, was another positive test. It really had nothing to do with the financials because my entry clearly says that I waived those.
Notice what the judge is actually doing here. He's not being harsh. He's fact-checking the guy's own story in real time. Spicer says he got stuck on probation because he couldn't pay fines. The judge pulls the actual record and shows it was positive drug tests, not money, that kept him on supervision. That's a judge who clearly reads the file before the hearing, not just the summary sheet.
So I guess I'm just looking to you to try to explain that to me.
I honestly, that's what they were telling me is that I have to pay something.
Do you not remember the positive drug screens?
Yes, I remember the probation violations. I remember all of that. It's just, but I was told that I did have to pay. You may have waived it at the end when you terminated my probation. I'm not sure, but
Well, and that's true. That's true. No, I waived it at the time. Well, let me. I'm still trying to pull this up. It's not wanting to cooperate. Just so that I'll just make sure that I remember correctly. All right, so you were placed on ILC on March the 12th of 2018, right?
Right.
There were 3 felony charges, B&E theft and possession of criminal tools, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So then we go to, so your first violation was March 5th of 2021. So you'd been on for 3 years. At that time, you tested positive for oxycodone. Failed to report for an office visit.
That was his second violation, Your Honor. Look, I think there was one back in 2018, and he was continued on.
Oh, okay, you're right. I didn't go back far enough. Okay. Okay. Did you do a CBCF?
What's that?
Were you ordered to do a CBCF?
I'm not sure what that is.
Did you go to CCC or Monday?
I went to River City.
River City, okay. All right, so that was then you had a second ILC violation. And then on that time, that was in 2022, and that was for, you failed to report again, positive for benzodiazepine. I terminated your ILC that day. And then I basically sentenced you to local time. At that time, you'd already served 238 days. You got an additional 60 days in the Warren County Jail. Sound right?
Right.
Okay. But when I sentenced you on June the 14th of 2022, I found you indigent that day. So the ILC officer was correct, but that's not why you were continued on ILC. It was because it was prolonged because of the positive test. It had not. I'm telling you right now, our probation department does not hold somebody up from keeping them on supervision just to pay court costs. We don't do that. Now, had you continued and finished ILC, and we terminated you from ILC and dismissed the charges, and then you came in to seal it, you would have to pay the court costs. Then we might hold this up, but I do not hold up terminating ILC based on financials. You were on ILC because you kept testing positive for drugs.
Right.
Am I right?
Yes.
And then and ultimately that's why your community control was terminated.
That's just.
So again, that's where my question is why should I do this when you did not successfully complete community control? That's my question.
My strongest point is this, my only trouble, and it's the reason it's so important for me to get this sealed is because my son just turned 16. I got him a car. He's got a job, but staying with my girlfriend and her grown son, he's in a bad environment. I'm trying to get into a different place. It's hard to. Nobody will let me even apply with these felonies on my record, and I just need to get my son out of that environment. And I can't do anything with these felonies on my record, and I've tried the best I can to stay out of trouble and be a good role model for my son, and he's doing really good. He got his temps. He started driving. He started his job last week, not long after he turned 16. I'm just trying to get out of the place I'm in now and get my own place for me and my son.
Anything else, Ms. Nicholson?
No, Your Honor.
All right, the court will find that the required time period has passed since the defendant's discharge of a criminal case. There are no criminal proceedings currently pending against him. The offenses are eligible to be sealed. The applicant's interest in having these records sealed is not outweighed by any legitimate government need to maintain the records. I'm going to grant your request, Mr. Spicer. I just wanted to kind of hear your explanation as to why you did not successfully complete community control. So,
Thank you.
all right, so I'm going to grant your request. If you'll give me 1 second, I'm going to file this document electronically.
And this is why these expungement hearings hit different. This isn't a not guilty case or a technicality. The guy admits he messed up, failed drug tests, got kicked off community control, but he did his time, stayed clean since, and just wants these felonies off his record so he can get an apartment and give his teenage son a stable place to live. The judge clearly wanted to hear him explain the rocky part of his record before granting it, not just rubber stamp it. That's the system working the way it's supposed to.
Okay, I've sealed it. Mr. Laux is going to hand you a copy of this entry. You need to hold on to that for your records. Okay, sir?
I
All right.
appreciate it.
Yep,
This
thank you,
helps
sir.
me so much.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Durbin, if you want to step up to the podium, just make sure you get copies for your records if you need them.